Hello, friends. I am coming to you today from our home office. This is used to be a guest room in our house that has now been converted into an office space, and it's good to see you today and to connect with you. Today, I did something a little different. Wanted to have a conversation with someone who I've known my entire life, and many of you have had a chance to get to meet him as well. He is a retired minister, and he lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and his name is the Reverend Charles F. Scott, and he is my father. So my dad and I had a Zoom conversation that wanted to share with you today. It's good to be able to talk to him, of course, as his daughter, but it's also interesting as my father is 83 and he's in the more vulnerable category for the coronavirus, and just to have him share some reflections in this time. And so I hope you will enjoy our conversation. Hi, Dad.
Hey, Mary Kay.
Hey, welcome to First Presbyterian Church's email reflection. Glad you could join me today.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Can you tell everybody where you are?
We are in right outside of Atlanta in Austell, which is a suburb of Atlanta, and we live in the Presbyterian Village, which is a retirement community. There's about 300 people here. We live in one of the houses, and we have a creek and a forest behind us, and we have a great place to live. We've been here for 13 years.
Wow. That's right. You've been there for 13 years. You moved there about the same time I moved to Richmond.
That's right. We were in Florida together, and when you left Florida, we thought, well, Mary Kay and her family aren't here. We're going to leave too. So we came to Atlanta.
That's right. Well, I just thought I would check in with you today as this time with the coronavirus and being at home. You are in the age bracket, which is considered in the most highly, what are we calling it? Vulnerable at the young age of 83.
Yep.
Wow. Just wonder what this experience has been like for you.
Well, it's definitely a unique experience,
Mm-hmm.
being here, and we pretty much have to stay in. But the good news is we get outside, and we have neighbors close by, and so we spend a lot of time 6 feet apart from each other, making the best of the time. But it is kind of scary because all the places in Atlanta, they keep saying all the retirement communities and nursing facilities are the most dangerous places. So we're just staying kind of locked in, making the best of it.
Wow. So in your lifetime, I'm curious if you've ever experienced anything similar to this, or what would you say is the closest connection? Or this is such a unique time.
Yeah, the closest connection I can think of to this was when I went to Haiti. We go to Haiti quite often in 1985, and I got sick over there and got home and was put in the hospital for 31 days. And they weren't sure what my disease was coming back from Haiti. So they quarantined me for 3 weeks, and hardly anybody could come in to see me.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, I got well. But that's the closest experience I've had to this.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I was a junior in high school, and you were very, very sick. And we were very glad that you recovered from that. Yeah, I can see the correlation there. Well, speaking of Haiti, and a lot of folks from our church are familiar with the ministry of our church went to Pele and to the school that you and Mom helped start. And I know you're in contact with our friends there. What are you hearing from them these days?
Yeah, we of course had to cancel our trip. We were going over in April and couldn't do that. But we hear from them almost every day. And the good news is our staff and friends and all the teachers of the school, of course, the schools are closed, are all healthy. They're having to stay inside too. But the amazing thing about Haiti is that there have been only 10 deaths so far recorded, and only like 100 people supposedly with the disease. And you would think with Haiti, where there's no way to distance or separate from each other, just the most densely populated country in the hemisphere, that they'd be on top. There'd be a lot of sickness, but so far, gratefully, there hadn't been. As compared to the Dominican Republic, right next door, where there are thousands and thousands of cases. And they think maybe, I was reading in the New York Times, that because 40% of the children in Haiti die before the age of 5. And so they think the immune system for the ones who survive may be the reason that they're surviving with this so far.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not a place where social distancing would be
No, possible.
to do. And I'm guessing there's not online school for our children in the school.
No, can't do that.
No, not much even electricity there for many of them. But well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're able to stay connected, and we'll keep praying for all of our friends there for sure.
Yeah, we are able to feed hundreds of them and
Good.
families around the school, but there are no school.
Yeah, well, that's great that they're able to still get the meal. When you think about um, where do you imagine, how do you understand where God is in the midst of all this, either for you personally or in the world?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, where God is. And I think the amazing thing that we're experiencing here is the way that the community, the body of Christ, is really caring for each other. I mean, we just every day there's some amazing experience where somebody's done something or taken a meal to someone across the street, or uh, getting together with neighbors who we haven't talked with in a long time. They'll come out in the street, stay 6 feet apart, and wear our mask.
Hmm.
So we're having a lot of fellowship opportunities with people, and I think God is certainly in the midst of that.
Hmm.
And we're just praying for a vaccine.
Right, of course. Yeah, well, it is, I think, to be able to recognize how God, who made us to be in relationship with one another, and now maybe we were not taking full advantage of those relationships. And
That's right.
even though we're having to physically distance, some of those relationships are sharpening and even
Yeah,
becoming fuller,
absolutely.
definitely. What would you say is your hope for us as a church, as individuals, as a country, as we come out of this or on the other side? You have
Well, I think a hope for us, for our family, is that we could see each other again. That's been the hardest part, is
yeah,
not seeing my children except like this,
right,
or our 12 grandchildren. And now we have a new great grandbaby as of 3 weeks ago,
right.
and his name is Charles.
Well, I know you would have been running over there to see him, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure the hope of being able to soon be able to be near each other again, and the hope though that we all can stay safe and healthy and do what we need to do to keep others safe and healthy is important now.
right.
Sure.
Yep.
Um, well, I appreciate. Did you have any other great words of wisdom you wanted to share before we head out?
No, it's just accept that you're one of the greatest
Oh,
preachers in Richmond, and
thank you, Dad. Thank you. We'll
we're
make sure to keep
excited
listening.
excited about your great church and all the people there, our friends there. We love you all.
Yes, well, there is a lot of love in this church, that's for sure, and they love my parents, and that's been great. We'll say hi to Mom for
We
us.
will.
And
I will.
and thanks for stopping in today and letting us chat with you.
I enjoyed it.
All right, Dad. I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun for me. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation today. And let me just remind you to be sure to check out all the different things that are happening in the life of the church. You can go to our webpage and check out our local needs and ways that you can serve. We've got several online meetings going on this week. We'll start to meet with our officer elects for officer training. Amy's Bible study will happen on Wednesday. And confirmation classes are starting this week. There's a lot happening in the life of the church as we continue to seek to be God's church, even in this new and different way. Thanks for joining us today. I pray that you would have glimpses of God's grace that would come before you this day. See you next time.